we have the legendary DMC in the house from Run DMC,
do.
co-hosting the Hot 5 at 9 countdown with us. I have this in my hand. It's a little comic book
it's
flyer.
a postcard flyer.
So when did you get into comic books? You're writing comic books now, or,
yes, well,
graphic
I'm
novels?
Publishing graphic novel / comic books. Before hip hop came over the bridge, it changed my life.
Okay.
This was my existence. It was school and it was comic books. That's all I did. Go to school. I was one of those kids. I loved the first day of school. New pencil sharpeners, new lunchbox. New how a fresh new book feels?
Yes, I still love
with
that
a new
feeling.
pen. So I was one of those kids that loved that feeling and stuff like that. And I went to Catholic school my whole life too.
I went to Catholic school.
Yeah, so I had to wear the uniform. So it was kind of like, horrible being a kid that went to Catholic school in the hood. Because you wore a uniform, you got picked on, you got teased.
Yeah.
And I wore glasses, so 4 eyes upside my head. Well, could you see that? So, being a kid at that time, and even now, I understand bullying. I go speak to kids and they go, DMC, you don't look like you get bullied. Not now.
That's why it's such a good story, though. You don't expect it.
Comic books was my release as a kid. Marvel comic books take me to that world. And another thing comic books did, it helped me with my education because I was reading.
Right.
And Marvel was dope because it was really New York City. DC was cool. Gotham and Metropolis and, Batman, Superman, Justice League. But Marvel was really in New York. So it was like superheroes was running around New York. So I was learning a lot from Marvel comic books as a kid. In school you learn about the planets.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer would take you there. In school, you learn about World War II and Hitler. Captain America would take you there. So that was the good thing about that. So make a long story short, I'm in this world of comic books. They got superheroes running around New York. This thing called hip-hop comes over the bridge. Oh, shoot. Superheroes really running around it because the breakdancers and the DJs and the MCs, the way they look, the moves, it was all of this coming to life. So coming up, it was hip-hop, comic books, and kung fu movies.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee's a legend. Bruce Lee's the most hip-hop person ever. So when it was time for me to get on the record or run, he came over to my house one day to play basketball. He saw I was a comic book head. He saw I could draw. He saw I was getting good grades in school. But then he saw all these rhymes that I was writing. And I was good at creating because comic books allow me to write.
Right.
So he looked at me in 9th grade and was like, yo, D, when Russell lets me make a record, I'm putting you in my group. So when it was time to, D, write around about this. Okay. I became the devastating mic-controlling DMC, the king of rock. Son of Bifred was just like Thor going, son of Odin. So all people going back to my rhymes now, knowing, yo, D, you was writing a comic book again.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But comic books, the long story short, comic books was my inspiration, and it was also my courage.
Right.
And allowed me to be creative. So about a year ago, I went to have a music meeting up at Atlantic Records with Riggs Morales, who was Eminem's right-hand man for Shady Records through that successful domination of the universe. And I walked up there, it was supposed to be about music. He just said what you just said. He was like, yo, D, I'm supposed to keep it real professional right now, but I gotta fan out right now. You're a legend. You're DMC. He said, what was it like when you was a kid? And I just said, well, I went to Catholic school and I read comic books. And when I said the word comic books, this light came on and it's like he started glowing. Like he turned into an angel. And we sat there about two hours and we talked comic books. And he was like, yo, D, you ever think about doing a comic book? And I was like, no, not really, because I don't want to be another rapper just because I was successful in hip hop trying to go outside of my lane or whatever. Yeah. But then he basically said, yo, you could do with comic books what you did with your music all these years. I was like, yeah, oh, wow. I never thought about that. Inspire, motivate, create, you know what I'm saying? The same thing I did on a microphone, I could do with a comic book. But what's good about the comic books, young people, especially the young people, they'll start reading, but they get to hold it in their hand, and they get to live with it, and they get to use their imagination with it. My career was me telling about how powerful I am, but with the comic book, I could expose them to ideas, images, and concepts that will be useful into making them productive individuals. Sort of like what I already did with my records.
And in an entertaining way as well.
Right,
to keep their attention.
Exactly.
That's great.
And that's why I decided to do the comic books, because I was a comic book geek before I got on a microphone to be DMC, the King of Rock.